Hello and good afternoon. Here is the news at 4. First, the highlights. Lagos State Government organizes stakeholders forum to ensure regulated parking structure. President Tinubu to leave for Ethiopia on Thursday for African Union Summit. On the front, in Israel launches extensive strikes on Lebanon. And in sports, Athletics Federation of Nigeria banks on home-based athletes ahead African Games in Ghana. And now the details. I am Akan Usen. To ensure a regulated parking structure, the Lagos State Parking Authority (LASPA) has organized a stakeholders forum to enable residents keen to the policies of the state government in line with global best practices. Speaking at the event, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu expressed his administration's commitment to its integrated urban transport system in line with the letter T of the Themes Plus Developmental Agenda, which stands for Traffic Management and Transportation. Governor Sanwo-Olu commended the State House of Assembly for providing the needed legislation to back the activities of LASPA and the collaboration with local governments to ensure successful implementation of government plans and policies on parking systems.
We're utilizing existing legal rules suitable to accommodate on-street parking and to create additional parking spaces, especially in areas with high parking traffic. The on-street parking scheme, as in most of our projects, is being done in partnership with also the private sector, so that we can truly create a public-private partnership that will work, that will be engaging, and that will be transparent. And we believe that it is in order for us to benefit and see the effectiveness and efficiency of the policy, and to help at delivering high-quality service that will meet the needs of our ever-increasing population.
In her welcome address, General Manager of LASPA, Adebisi Adelabu, noted that the agency has identified over 20,000 setbacks suitable for parking across the state, and more than 13,000 are already in use, while effort is ongoing to identify more. According to Adelabu, over 800 parking slots have been created through on-street parking strategy, and 1,162 signages installed to make parking easy for Lagosians.
Across the world and in most metropolitan cities, parking is a strategic tool in traffic management, and we aim to ensure our efforts to address all parking issues are successful, thereby positioning Lagos as a leading light amongst other cities when it comes to parking management.
The Stakeholders Forum is with the theme Parking in Lagos, the Journey So Far, assessing the social and economic impact of the sector. Our correspondent Adiola Akindele quotes Governor Sanwo-Olu as saying that the much-anticipated launch of the Red Line Rail project by President Bola Tinubu will take place on the 29th of this month in Ikeja. The Lagos State Government, in collaboration with the Association of Certified Forensic Intelligence and Crime Analysts, has commenced a 2-day workshop on traffic incident management for senior officers of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA. Commissioner for Transportation Oluwaseun Oshiemi, while declaring the workshop open, said the training was in line with traffic management and transportation as one of the cardinal programs of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, as captured in the administration's Themes Plus Developmental Agenda. Oshimi explained that the government is investing huge resources in training and retraining of LASMA personnel to guarantee a refined and robust traffic management system, as well as reduce traffic congestion across the state. Earlier in his welcome address, the convener of the workshop, Abiola Allen, stated that traffic incidents can be destructive in a metropolitan city like Lagos if not well managed. The Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority (LASPA) has commenced a general audit exercise on buildings in Lagos State to assess compliance with planning permit laws and regulations, just as it encouraged owners/developers to regularize areas of default. Speaking on the exercise, the Director, Monitoring and Compliance Unit of the authority, Iyuola Olarinde, said the exercise is also designed to carry out monitoring of buildings under construction to verify if they obtained a planning permit and confirm that relevant professionals are the ones handling the building projects to avoid building collapse. According to him, the exercise is to re-strategize on previous enforcement embarked upon, as well as assess owners/developers' responses to notices issued on their properties. Olarinde said during the special exercise, all properties that have contravened, been served notices, sealed, and have broken the seals will be visited again and made to face the wrath of the law. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency NIMET says the excessive heat being experienced in the country presently will remain for a while. NIMET, in its weather and climate update posted on its official X page, also outlined the weather implications and provided guidance to the public on how to manage the situation. It says the heat could lead to dehydration and also cause fainting, heat rash, weakness of the body, slight fever, respiratory issues, and increased vulnerability to chronic conditions. The agency tasks Nigerians on adequate fluid intake and also enjoins residents to seek shade, use fans, and wear light, breathable clothing to reduce exposure to high temperatures. And now to the rest of the stories. President Bola Tinubu will on Thursday depart Abuja for Addis Ababa, the Ethiopian capital, to participate in the 37th ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union Heads of State and Government. According to Tinubu's special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, the president will join other African leaders in high-level meetings on institutional reforms of the African Union, peace and security. President Tinubu is expected to discuss specific thematic issues such as climate change and modalities of the AU's participation and priorities in the G20. He will be accompanied on the trip by some ministers and other top government officials and is expected to return to Abuja following the summit. This year's summit is themed Educate an African, Fit for the 21st Century, building resilient education systems for increased access to inclusive, lifelong, quality and relevant learning in Africa. The Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum has called on the federal and state governments to declare a state of emergency on substance abuse and illicit drug trafficking in the country. The call was one of the resolutions in a communique signed by the chairperson of the forum and wife of Kwara State Governor Olufolake Abdulrazak. The communique was issued at the end of a two-day drug prevention treatment and care training organized by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, for wives of state governors in Abuja. The governor's wives acknowledged the urgent need to take control and reinvigorate the state drug control committees for optimal functioning for the states that had one and encouraged states that did not have to constitute one. The forum also stressed the need for the federal government and state governors to declare a state of emergency on illicit drug use and trafficking pandemic with a view to mobilizing resources to tackle it. And now to foreign news. Israel has launched an extensive wave of attacks on Lebanon after a woman was killed and others injured in a rocket attack on northern Israel. Reports say villages have been hit and buildings were on fire. Hezbollah, which is thought to have carried out the attack on Israel, has not claimed responsibility. The two sides have traded regular fire across Israel's northern border since the October 7 attacks by Hamas. According to the Israel Defense Forces IDF spokesman Daniel Hagari, the attack from Lebanon on northern Israel hit the safe area and was targeted at the Israeli military's northern command center. And away from all that, now sports. President of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, Tonobok Okowa, says the country will prepare home-based athletes for the upcoming African Games in Ghana in anticipation of the absence of some of the overseas-based athletes. According to the Ministry of Sports Development, Team Nigeria's contingent to the Games will open camp on Thursday, February 15, in 5 states across the country, with the athletics team scheduled to train at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. Ahead of the camping activities, the AFN is uncertain about the availability of the athletes based abroad due to the timing of the indoor season abroad. Nigeria's leading athletes, Toby Amushon, Ese Brume, Shade Olatoye, Chukwuebuka Enekwechi, who all won gold medals at the last edition in 2019, as well as Favor Ofili, who won silver in the 400 meters, are busy with the indoor season abroad, where they have made blistering starts. The African Games, the 13th edition, holds from March 8 to 23 across 3 Ghanaian cities: Accra, Kumasi, and Cape Coast. Just before we go, slow down at road junctions, intersections, and pedestrian crossings. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms on X, formerly Twitter, Lagos Traffic 961, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961, Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. On YouTube, subscribe and watch us live on our channel, Traffic Radio 961. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration initiated the Lagos State Employability Support Project, LSESP, to address the labor skill gap and unemployment problems? You can get more details on the Lagos State government website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. To ensure a regulated parking structure, the Lagos State Parking Authority, LASPA, has organized a stakeholders forum to enable residents key into the policies of the state government in line with global best practices. President Bola Tinubu will on Thursday depart Abuja for Addis Ababa, the Ethiopian capital, to participate in the 37th ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union Heads of State and Government. We also told you that Israel has launched an extensive wave of attacks on Lebanon after a woman was killed and others injured in a rocket attack on northern Israel. And in sports, President of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, Tonobok Okowa, said the country will prepare home-based athletes for the upcoming African Games in Ghana in anticipation of the absence of some of the overseas-based athletes. For contact with the newsroom, please send a message to Lagos Traffic Radio at lagosstate.gov.ng. And that ends the news broadcast compiled by Kayode Mafolashiri. I am Akan Usen. Thanks for listening and please stay safe. Good afternoon.